So Ready or Not provides free on-site emergency assessments and recommendations for emergency preparedness planning. And this includes archives, libraries, museums, cultural organizations, historic societies, history centers, and tribal nations. And so if you're a small organization, we come out to you and try and help you get started on disaster planning. The Ready or Not team is located in San Diego County, and I'm the one in San Diego County. I'm calling in from Carlsbad today. We also have two people in Sacramento. We have someone in Merced, and we have two people in Los Angeles. And our team has past work experience in libraries, archives, museums, historic societies, and archaeology. So the team includes Mario Gallardo, Özgejan Sayüstün, Victoria Wong, Caroline Weiler, Jason Partita, and myself, and we work on emergency preparedness consultations. And then we also have our outreach coordinator, Celeste Knight, and she's joining us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So our project team provides assistance with disaster preparedness strategies and emergency protocols. And so, of course, when you get collections preservation specialists on site, we really can't help ourselves. We start to mention and point out anything else that we see about collections assessment and storage conditions, any other general kind of conservation or preservation things that we're thinking about. And we look to help each organization that we visit with improvements for preservation and emergency planning. This can take the form of training and toolkits. And so each person that participates gets templates and resources, along with our best practices and recommendations. So on each site visit, the emergency preparedness consultant meets with as many staff or volunteers as possible that are available for that day at the organization. We assess disaster risk for the region, the site of the building, the collections, and for people. So we're also going to talk about human safety. Our consultation encourages you to gather a team of people to write the disaster plan. So this consultant from Ready or Not is going to, come in and talk to you, but we're not going to write the plan for you. And the disaster planning process itself is crucial to disaster preparedness. As you come and meet with us as a team, you're starting to get a sense of who would actually show up during a disaster and respond. So we observe what an organization is currently practicing and what they need to improve their emergency preparedness. We also help small organizations understand risk assessment for collections. And so best practices like integrated pest management, documenting your water leaks or incidents, monitoring temperature and humidity conditions in collection storage, or adjusting the light levels or UV exposure to works that might be light sensitive. After the site visit's complete, we provide you with an assessment report, and our Ready or Not team is available to answer any questions or follow up about how the organization is doing with disaster planning. So you can always come back to us with more questions or comments or progress report. We love to hear that people have tackled things that we've recommended that they do. On the day of the site visit, our emergency preparedness consultant will meet with you, and the consultation includes an interview with questions about current practices and emergency preparedness. And this can lead to discussion where some of the folks that are newer to the organization might hear about past incidents that they didn't previously know about. So it can be a good exposure to some of the history of emergencies or disasters at that institution. We also ask about things like how did you respond if the basement flooded or if a wildfire caused you to have to evacuate. And so talking through those things, we can talk about how to be better prepared the next time. In the second part of the visit, the group and our consultant walk through all the collections storage areas and other areas of the building. And so then we get to go see where your collections are kept, what the conditions are like, any signs of, you've already started to do some risk mitigation, and we get to discuss some other possibilities for things that you could do to improve your practices. So Ready or Not consultants try to find risks for your region or location, and we take an all hazards approach, and this is based off of FEMA. So examples are things like earthquake fault lines, potential landslide or flood or sinkholes nearby, man-made disasters like airplane or train crash or terrorism or civil disturbance. We also talk about climate change related disasters and extreme weather situations. And then we also walk through with you and talk about risk assessment for collections. So maybe an organization has no integrated pest management, or they're barely doing environmental monitoring, or they only occasionally take a look at it. Many places have limited or no paid staff. They're all volunteer run, and their collections are at risk of physical damage from overcrowded storage situations or from lack of capacity. So maybe someone's only on site half of the year, or they only have a preservation person come occasionally to take a look at things. And so we discuss whether materials have an inventory, cataloging, how materials are identified. And this is meaningful if you had to evacuate collections in a disaster, just knowing what you had in the collection before it had to be moved off-site. So during risk assessment, our goal is to identify threats most likely to occur and with the greatest impact to the building, collections, and people. And with that in mind, we go through this sort of checklist with you as we walk through the place. So each organization that has a visit receives an emergency preparedness assessment report about 2 weeks later. And this report includes key priorities that we want you to address. And we make observations about how you're doing so far. And this could do a few things. It could point out ways that you could improve your emergency preparedness. It might also help you know what to do and when to schedule risk assessment. And it can also get you started with business continuity plans. So how do you successfully close and reopen if something interrupts your plan and your service? And so the greatest example of this is the pandemic closed everyone. We all had to reopen and come up with a plan. We also have observations and recommendations about risk mitigation for facilities, physical security, cybersecurity, fire, water, and human safety. The report includes templates, and this is in the form of a pocket plan or a table of contents to fill out bigger disaster plans for your organization. So we also offer a list of resources in California, and that can help populate that list of who to contact in an emergency. So we have phone numbers and web pages and list of conservators and things like that that we can supply you with. So who can participate? If you're looking at this map with me, these were all the places that were on my list to tackle when we started the project. And we would love it if all those little blue dots turned into little green check marks that somebody has had us come out there and help them. And as a result, they came up with a disaster plan. So any organization with cultural materials can participate, and we are particularly interested in reaching small organizations with limited resources because this is an opportunity to participate in a free assessment. And we know that some organizations started a disaster plan, but they need a little help to get it updated or to continue to add to it. So we can help you with that. So this is our contact information if you're interested in scheduling a consultation. I want to pause for a second. I've got one more person in the waiting room. People are still joining us. And give a chance for folks to ask questions in the chat. And also, if I don't get to your question today, please send your email in the chat. I will try and follow up via email later this week. So does anybody have questions right now? Oh, hi, Christine Zielinski from FEMA. That's great. Hello. Yeah, we definitely can do more than one location. And if you reach out to Celeste about having, for instance, a library history room and also a museum in the same city or same county, but they're in different buildings, we can coordinate that where we have one consultant come and meet with you 2 days within the same week. And it can be even in the same day. So if you feel like they're both small locations, we'll come and look at more than one building. It'll be a long visit, or we can break it into 2 days. So it is possible for us to send a consultant. They'll gather all your administrative information and sort of the organizational information in the first part of the visit as we do the question and answer session. And then when we do the building walkthrough, it might just take a little bit longer to see both of those sites. So yes, we can do more than one site. we have any other questions? I know some people just joined us, and I've got our contact information and website up here. We've just added a frequently asked question FAQ page to the site, so a lot of things are covered on the web page. Our goal today is, if you guys are interested in setting up a site visit, to go ahead and drop your email address into the chat, and Celeste will reach out to you with some more information. We schedule about 2 to 4 weeks in advance. So we're looking at filling the calendar right now for the end of June and for the rest of July. And so if you reach out to us at caready@nedcc.org, we can actually we can also follow up with you after this, but we'll have more information about exactly what's involved. Before the site visit, we'll send you some additional information about scheduling. So how long of a site visit you need. If you're a small organization, we can go for a half a day site visit. So we will arrive at around 10 a.m. and we usually try and power through and work right through lunch and finish up at around 1 or 2. So we could spend just 4 hours there. If you're, for instance, a single room archive or a small historic house type of museum. For bigger places where you're a university library or perhaps a historic heritage park that has 6 or 7 historic buildings that have all been placed in one part of your city, it will take us all day, and we'll be there from 9 to 3:30 usually. So it can get quite long if we have a lot of buildings to go to. But yeah, we're very flexible in terms of getting the schedule together and making sure that we can accommodate whoever needs to be there on the day that we visit you guys. So does anybody have any questions about anything else about the site visits or about the reports? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and let's do that and turn my camera back on and introduce myself and Celeste, because we have a few more minutes here. So Celeste, do you want to take a moment and just say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone. My name is Celeste Knight. I'm the Outreach and Travel Coordinator, and I'm seeing all the emails and direct messages with emails, so I'll make sure to send our first info email out right after this.
This is Dry from the Oceanside Museum, and Hillary has come out, and I have this fabulous report. I haven't done much with it since Hillary came out, but I really want to tell everybody it's a great program. Hillary is just fantastic, and it pointed out I've been in the museum business a long time, and it's really the first time that I've had such a professional person and institution, give me the information that I need. So please, everybody, do it and follow up. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I met with Dry about a month ago at Oceanside Museum of Art. They're really close to home for me, and I was so happy to have someone in my neighborhood kind of reach out about this project, because I basically live on the edge of Oceanside. And thank you so much, Dry, for saying that, because we're always looking for testimonials of people that have made progress or started to kick off their plans. So you have a team of, I don't know, 8 or 12 people at your museum. So you fall into that category of small organization. And I see Mitchell Dunn is here too from Oceanside Museum of Art. We love it when we have collective buy-in from everyone, but sometimes I only get a chance to meet with just the collections manager, or maybe only the facilities manager, just one person, because that's all that we have time for that day. And even then, that's a great way to just kick off disaster planning activity at your organization. And then you can disseminate that report and share that information with everybody else when you get a chance to meet with them. So it can be a great experience, even if only one person can show up for that day. So yeah, I spent the whole day with Dry. I really didn't want to leave because it's a great museum, and it was fun to see the collections and actually go over there and get the behind the scenes of what's going on in Oceanside. Does anybody else have questions today? I'm going to leave the chat open for now. There we go. We got a question from Chris Reaney. Have any of our consultants been involved with preservation assistant grants for smaller institutions? That is a different kind of consultation. So our Department of Ready or Not, based in California, only deals with disaster preparedness assessments, but we are part of the preservation services at NEDCC, and our larger department actually does preservation assistant grants, and so they can help with that. One thing to keep in mind if you're a small organization and you're thinking about the next steps or how to prioritize this is that having a disaster plan is part of the MAP and sort of the Association of Museums core documents for getting established as an accredited museum. So it is really important to have your disaster plan in hand when you start that MAP process, and that can kick off those first steps towards MAP and CAP and preservation assistant grants. So it really does sort of show good faith efforts at becoming accredited and becoming responsible caretakers for your cultural heritage. But yeah, we do participate at NEDCC in preservation assistant grants. Is anybody here doing MAP assessment or starting that process if you're a small organization? We've had one so far that we visited that said that we helped them get going on MAP. And so sort of first steps, we call it baby steps, step 1 of 10. Do we have any more questions? Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap up and take everybody's sort of names and emails down. I'll leave the meeting open. But I thank you all for your time today and coming out to learn more about the program. I hope you all sign up with us and reach out to Celeste. We'll put our information in the chat right here. So you, in case you missed it before, some folks were joining us late. You can contact us at caready@nedcc.org. And thank you guys for attending today.